In the 90-year history of the Academy Awards, black actors in movies have won only 18 out of the 85 nominations in these major categories: Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actress, Best Actor, Best Supporting Actress, and Best Supporting Actor. For the past year, BET.com has been asking actors, actresses, and directors who have both been nominated for Oscars and won to find out if there's a formula for winning the coveted trophy, how it has impacted their careers, and if it should even matter. This is Dear Oscar. The subsequent list of black winners for acting is short enough that we can list their names all here. In your opinion, what makes a performance Oscar-worthy?
If I occupy it. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know what they look for. Maybe it's just a one-tier thing. Or...
An impediment.
What?
Impediment.
Like on your toes or your nails?
Impediment. It's that Tropic Thunder thing.
Yes.
It's like you never go the full spaz. Is that what they would?
Like you have to have like a club foot, or you're dying. You're dying.
Okay. I'm okay. I'm
right?
writing
Lots
this down.
of Epsom salt.
What is it? An impediment.
Breakdowns, emotional breakdowns.
Yeah.
Hiding. You know, from the.
I'd also say being in a good movie.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's true. And being really talented.
Can I tell you what the true consideration for Oscar is? And maybe people forget. You know, we are an academy. We're the Academy of Arts and Sciences, which tells you that we are looking at movies not as people look at movies when they go to see a movie. Mm-hmm. We're looking for very specific things.
You're asking the wrong. Because what I think, it ain't what other people think.
No, I don't think that way. I have to see you, you experience it, and you go, man, I like that, or not. I don't necessarily look at a movie and go, man, that's Oscar-worthy.
Let me say this, look, there is some things that you go to a movie like this, you read a script, you go, okay, it has elements of the ilk of possible critical acclaim, if done well.
You gotta have the part. I don't know many Oscar roles that were solely created on the back of the actor, but were written and were there, and then you're fortunate enough to deliver the goods in a production that lives up to all that around you.
I think it's also like what is in the zeitgeist, like what's happening culturally. Like you look back at things that won the Oscar, and I think it feels like a postcard. Like the fact that Driving Miss Daisy won an Oscar the same year that Do the Right Thing was out. It's sort of like, I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna get in trouble for saying that. But you know what I mean? I mean, sometimes it's a sign of the times.
I remember several years back, it was Slumdog Millionaire and Curious Case of Benjamin Button that felt like they were sort of neck and neck. And I remember at that time, we were going through a financial crisis. And here it is, we made this big, large, blockbuster Hollywood movie with Curious Case of Benjamin Button, but what was resonating with people was the Slumdog Millionaire story. And I think I mention that only because that is just inherent within all this, that you can't separate film from culture and culture from film, that you always have to have there's always an awareness for what the culture, what the pulse of the people, what it is out.
I can say, not directly to an Oscar-worthy film, but I think in doing projects thus far, like you can feel a spirit on set, like an energy on set that's all around, and you're like, okay, this is gonna be something great, whether it's Oscar winning or not. And then if that energy isn't there, then something is lacking. That's for me personally, that's something that I'm able to fill out.
In 1940, Hattie McDaniel became the first African-American to win an Oscar for Best Supporting Actress in Gone with the Wind. She was also the very first African-American nominee. She went on to appear in almost 24 more films over the next decade. Though she is photographed with this statuette, it was only decorative. She was given a plaque for her achievement, which went missing from its display at Howard University in the 1970s. There wouldn't be another black acting winner until 1964, when Sidney Poitier won Best Actor in a Lead Role for Lilies of the Field. Has winning an Oscar helped African Americans? Depends on who you ask. Samuel L. Jackson has only been nominated once for Pulp Fiction in 1995 for Best Supporting Actor. The Academy didn't nominate any of his work in A Time to Kill, Jungle Fever, The Negotiator, or Django Unchained. But Mr. Jackson is lauded as the highest grossing actor of all time at over $5 billion. Angela Bassett was nominated for Best Actress in a Leading Role for What's Love Got to Do with It, but has not won an Oscar to date.
At that moment of winning an Oscar was fantastic, but I didn't keep the Oscar. I gave it to somebody to let them hold, because what I feared was that I would get the Oscar, and a lot of times I would see people in Hollywood get an Oscar, they start speaking in an English accent right after it's over. Say, what's up? Hey, well, when I won the Oscar, it's really, acting is more about the eyes, really. I said, I don't want none of that. And so it's been great, but it can also be too heavy sometimes, and I always wanted to stay fun.
Oh, it's been amazing. I write an email and people respond, I make a phone call and people pick up in that way. But I think also too, we're working on this show for Amazon called The Underground Railroad. It's an adaptation of the Colson Whitehead novel. We're doing it as a limited series. And, the main character in that book, just like in Beale Street, is a young black woman. And it was important to me to have young black women in the writer's room for that show. And now, as a person with an Oscar, a person in power, I was able to say these two young black women don't have any experience writing in television, but I need them in my writer's room. And nobody said no. And now those young women are on their second and third TV shows.
Well, I think, certain people are allowed to make more mistakes than others. And I think as a black person, you could make maybe 1.5, and that's about it. You're done. I just think more people like myself and you and others have to sort of get in a position of power. There's no point to, again, it's not, you don't want to get something handed to you. You need to sort of take control. And that's the only way one can do that, is by sort of, getting to a situation where one owns their own studio, again, sort of has control of content. It's the only way. We can't wait for people to wake up. We've got to do it ourselves.
Halle Berry said something very, very important once after Frankie and Alice. She said she became a producer out of necessity. And I would say that for any actor, any person, you've got to be the change what you want to see out there for your career once you hit a certain level. It's like going into someone else's house and trying to make the rules, So if you get any kind of leverage in the business, then you have to find the material. If it's that important to you, that's what you have to do. You got to produce it. You got to find it. You got to shore it up with actors, a director. And that's the change that you're seeing now in Hollywood with Halle Berry, Octavia Spencer, myself, Gabrielle Union, Kerry Washington. We all have production companies. That's the only reason why I even have some of the roles that are coming out in the future for me, because I'm looking for the material.
We have fared somewhat better in the non-acting categories, but not much. In 1986, Quincy Jones became the first African-American producer whose film was nominated for Best Picture, The Color Purple. Steve McQueen became the first black producer to win Best Picture for 12 Years a Slave. In 1990, Spike Lee became the first African-American to be nominated for Best Writing, Original Screenplay, but came up short in the Best Picture category, losing to Driving Miss Daisy. It wasn't until 2017 that Jordan Peele became the first African-American to win Best Original Screenplay for Get Out. 1972, Isaac Hayes won for Best Original Song, theme from Shaft, making him the first African-American winner for that category, and the first African-American winner of any award in any category other than acting. While there have been 5 African-American nominees for Best Director, John Singleton, Lee Daniels, Steve McQueen, Barry Jenkins, and Jordan Peele, none of them have won. Ruth E. Carter and Sharon Davis have been nominated twice for Best Costume Design, but neither has won. It wasn't until 2016 that Bradford Young became the first African-American to be nominated for Best Cinematography. Will the Academy listen to the people and nominate fan favorites like comedies and comic book films?
I said the hashtag the premiere night. I said it to the Marvel was like BP for BP. That's that BP Black Panther Best Picture, man. That's how we have to flex it right now.
Yeah.
I think this is a film that's up there. I think The Dark Knight had that kind of push into Heath Ledger and stuff. So I don't see there are no rules. You know what I mean? It's kind of like does it connect and do audience feel it's up there? And if it is, then why not recognize it? Mad Max got recognition, you know, like, so it's, I think we're in that space where recognition and that kind of arena is more fluid. It's not specific to just these kind of films, these biopics that we're championing as the best in cinema. It's actually now across all genres, and whatever rises.
The first Ant-Man was my first green screen film. I never done a green screen film in my life, and had a whole new appreciation for acting when there's nothing there. You know, they'll show you a picture and say, okay, this, you know, you're gonna be attacked from here, or this enormous thing is coming at you, and there's nothing there, you know? And so people do a brilliant job, but so much of it is involving things outside of your character. So in the same way comedy never gets the proper attention at come Academy time, I mean, comedy is tough to do. Comedy is much harder to do than drama. We all love, if we have a funny friend, we cherish him more than all our serious friends, but it never gets the credit.
Well, now that I'm a member of the Academy, I feel like that will change. Are you in the Academy?
Which Academy you talking about? Police Academy? Which Academy you talking about?
That motion picture?
Oh, no. I'm
okay, well, now that I'm a member of the Academy, I'm going to do what it takes to play the political role that needs to be played, and maybe we can get you in there and get a comedy nominated.
You know, comedy's always overlooked. Comedy's is forever overlooked, but it's also one of the hardest things to do. So eventually they'll come around and they'll recognize, but if they don't, people that do comedy are happy. That's
Well,
all
like I
about
said,
comedy.
someone needs to politic for the comedy. You need a good politician.
Now, should there be a different category for movies that are just crowd pleasers? Maybe, but I always want to tell people, you know, it's not, you know, they always say, oh, you know, it's just old white men sitting around, or it's old this sitting around. It's actually not. It's all of us sitting around in our categories going, I think this is great. This is the one I'm voting for because of X, Y, Z. So everybody relax. Relax. Nobody's trying to keep anybody down. Nobody.
Y'all don't want Oscars So White to happen again.
Social media is very
Black
powerful.
Lives Matter, and it's time that we see those narratives represented and appreciated.
Your Move Academy.